of this one. Like, somebody took a chunk out of our magazine. I have no idea how the hell that happened, but we'll have our magazine to show. Anyways, hi, welcome to Exotic Car Talk with Exotic Car Magazine. I'm Zoe, and I'm here with Bryan, my co-host, and we're going to be talking about some of the luxury cars we featured in our recent issue. This one, we're talking about our April 2018 issue, better late than never, but we've got some great stuff for you. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, check that out as well, because you can see some of the pictures that we're going to be talking about, as well as check out our magazine, because that's where all the good stuff is. So just again, we're going to be talking about luxury cars. We're in the world of luxury automobiles. Top of the line stuff, the best, the brightest, the most expensive cars on the market today, and with some of the coolest features that we've all seen. So before we get started, let's go tell you about myself. I am Zoe, and I'm a writer for Exotic Car Magazine. And Bryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've had a varied experience with cars. Used to work in the Porsche world, and I've done everything from hot rods to off-road to some racing kind of stuff. So a little bit of everything.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. And we're here in your garage, and you got some pretty. I might as bonus feature, might take the video and show you some of the stuff like later on, because it's pretty neat. We have today we're going to be talking about the Rolls Royce Sweptail, the Apollo IE, and we're going to be talking about what makes a hypercar. And as always, talk about some luxury watches in addition to our cars, because what good is a luxury car if you don't have a luxury watch? I can't still laughing at the thing. What was the thing you sent me earlier? The thing you sent me on Facebook. What was it? The coffee. What was the coffee make?
It was an espresso machine that's designed to look like a V12 engine. Wow. And you'll notice the price tag was not there.
Yeah, it's a price. Yeah, there was a saying, like I heard my mom always say, "Oh, no price tag. Guess it means it's free." It's either free or it's so expensive you don't want to know what the price tag is. So we're going to talk about, speaking of price tag, that leads us into our first car. We got the Rolls Royce Sweptail here. Okay, so Rolls Royce Sweptail. This is the most expensive car ever built. It's got a price tag of about $13 million. It took 4 years to build, and it's based on the look of a yacht. Okay, so you got some old school Sweptail, the body style here, as well as the yacht. So what do you know about cars like those 20s styles? What do you know about this body style? What does this say to you, the Sweptail body style?
Well, it does remind you of a boat in that it's got a boat tail design in a modern coupe. A friend of mine has a old Bugatti in his house, literally.
Yeah.
And it is a Sweptail. It comes to a point. It's a very classic design.
He has a car in his house?
Yes, it's a room divider. It's a 1930s Bugatti.
Wow.
So a rather eclectic piece of furniture.
Okay. Usually when people have cars in their houses, they didn't mean to get them there. It's because someone drove it through the window. But all right. So we've got the exterior here, and we're looking at it's got the largest ever aluminum grille in Rolls Royce history, and that signature ornament. What's this fancy signature ornament? What's it called again?
I forget what they call it, the Flying Lady, I believe, or something.
Spirit of Ecstasy.
There you go.
This is the largest ever. So, this made me think of something when I was in high school. This guy I know, his dad has a Mercedes, right? And he took the Mercedes, the hood ornament off. He took the hood ornament off of his dad's Mercedes, and he wore it on a chain to school.
Of course he did. What did Dad say about that?
I'm not sure. I'm sure his dad was displeased, but he felt really cool. He went into school and he was wearing literally a Rolls Royce, the Mercedes ornament, on his chest.
So I wonder if he's still alive.
He's still alive. He's working for his dad, actually. Surprise.
Dad must have forgave him.
Surprise, yeah. Okay. No, so the Spirit of Ecstasy, this is the iconic Rolls Royce ornament, and this is the biggest one ever on the Sweptail. Now, despite being a 2-seater coupe, it spans to over 6 meters, and what's 6 meters? Is that about 6 yards?
Yeah, it's dang big.
It's big. It's big.
I'd have to do the conversion to know exact, but that is that especially for a 2-seater.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of an interesting design in that aspect. I'm quite surprised that there's an elimination of a rear seat. It's gorgeous what they did back there, but it's a very, very big car for a 2-seater.
Right. So it's got, so if you see on there, it's got the longest panoramic uninterrupted glass roof ever seen on a motor car. And so the glass roof, basically, it's like a convertible, but without, having to worry about air and pollution and breathing the same air as us commoners. All right. So tell us a little bit about under the hood. What kind of engines it's got?
Where's that?
All right. We got this for the engine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 6.6 liter V12.
What would be your ideal? Okay, so, obviously it's a good engine. Well, okay, what would be, if you could design this car, what would be your ideal engine?
Well, the thing that's interesting about Rolls Royce, in my opinion, is you go back to World War II.
Mm-hmm.
What were our airplanes powered by?
What were they?
Rolls Royce engines.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
The P-51 Mustang, the plane that probably saved, America in the war, did so much, good stuff. Those were Rolls Royce powered. I mean, Rolls Royce builds some of the finest machinery on the planet. So
that's real. I did not know that. That's really cool. That's really cool. So this could. So we're talking. You got yachts, and this probably could power a jet engine too. This really is. Yeah.
Well, Rolls Royce. I mean, obviously it was made bespoke for aviation, but they could do just about anything from an engineering standpoint. I mean, the fact that they did this car for somebody, a guy, one car.
It could be a woman. We don't know.
Or woman. One human being ordered this car and got Rolls Royce to do it. Think about that power. Okay. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I first saw this, my first thought was, all right, what Sultan, what Shah, but it's right-hand drive. So it's not going to an oil-rich nation. It's going, to Japan. It's going to Britain.
Wait, so right-hand drive means the steering wheel's on the right side.
Correct.
So
it means that it's, for cars that are driven on the left side of the road. How many countries are there? It's about I think 1/4 of the world still does that roughly, but
wow.
It definitely narrows who might have bought this car.
All right. That's pretty interesting. In England they drive on the left side of the road, correct? In England. Okay, England and Scotland, I know they drive on the left side of the road. What about Asia?
Japan does. China does not, if I remember correctly. So anyway, you start going through the list.
Yeah.
And then think about it. If you've got $13 million to spend on a car.
Yeah.
I mean, what I first envisioned is this jewel is sitting on a rotisserie in the center of this palatial garage
in
that's
Kuwait
all
or something
white.
like that.
Yes, with a ring of cars around it, all paying homage to it almost, right?
Wow.
But no, that might all still be kind of true in terms of how it's displayed. But, the fact that it was built for one person, that's almost got to be a Rolls-Royce collector, somebody who's important to the factory, somebody who's supported them, in some big way.
All right. Well, so we know that now. A few more clues are on the inside. Is that so? It's got the Macassar ebony and the Palladio veneers. Palladio. How do you know Palladio veneers? How to put that? It's got ebony and it's got these moccasin and dark spice leathers. Okay, so Macassar ebony and Palladio veneers. I'll figure out how to say that. And the moccasin and the dark spice leathers. Okay. And it's hand-stitched steering wheel. So basically everything was customized for this particular client. And it's so so you got that stuff. And now if you look in our magazine, we'll pop some pictures up here. If you go to our YouTube, so you can see some of this or whatever. It's got the interior it's light. It's got the contrast of the light and the dark, very much throwback to the 20s and 30s and stuff like that. Now here's where it gets cool. Additionally, there's a full set of luggage for the Sweptail, and it's got two hidden compartments in the boot or the trunk, as we say in the U.S., to fit the bespoke laptop cases. Now, but the most outlandish feature is the concealed in the center console, and this is a mechanism that reveals a bottle of champagne along with two crystal flutes. So basically, you press a button and you get a bottle of champagne with two crystal flutes.
Yeah, that's a little outlandish and cool. I thought the case deal was kind of neat in that you drive to your destination, you open your door, you press a button, your briefcase comes to you, basically. You pick it up, exit the car. I actually wonder if this thing even gets driven.
It probably doesn't. So it says that, okay, so it says the system designed to deploy the bottle, the champagne bottle, which is the client's favorite vintage, the year of his birth. Oh, so we know it's a man, the year of his birth. So we know it's a man who was born.
Well, he's got to be born long ago enough that the vintage is good.
I guess so. What counts as vintage? What's vintage? What do you think? What makes something vintage now? Now I got to figure out what counts as vintage wine anymore. Or vintage champagne?
Hard to say. I mean, in terms of the quality, if there's a particular vintage of his birth that he loves, though, I'm guessing this guy's, he's up there. He's established.
Like I gotta say, okay, now that is something. Okay, now I feel like we've got to Google this right now. What counts as vintage? Wait, what counts as vintage champagne? It better not say 1986. better not say anything in the 1980s. Okay, what is vintage champagne? Blah 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 blah. Trying to give me some things. That's not giving me anything about years. Okay. I'm getting 40. Okay, it has to be over 40.
Over 40 years of age.
Over 40 years of age.
I think that was kind of a given just looking at the car.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know anyone under 40 who's affording this. So that's all we know. But if you guys are checking it, so if you make sure to check out this the magazine. This is our April 2018 issue. You can still get it. We're having it on.
Look how lovely that is.
I know it's so sleek.
That is really something on the interior.
It is, yeah, just the smoothness, the lines, and there's no hard, no hard edges, just really, really smooth lines. I think kind of like it evokes that movement. Like you feel like this car is moving. Car is fluid. This car is, you're on a boat, you're in a car, you're in an airplane, whatever, but this thing is definitely going somewhere.
Well, this kind of reminds you of the 30s era wood boats and the elegance of them.
Yes.
So.
I've never been on a 30s era wood boat, but it looks pretty cool. God, look at the steering wheel is just everything about it. It sparkles. It is pretty neat. Why is this an ad here? Also, there's one of our ads. You can meet stunning singles. For the people back at home, you can meet stunning singles. Yeah, so I guess that just came out of nowhere. If you can't get the car, you can at least get the lady, or get the car, then get this lady. I don't know how that's gonna work.
If you get the car, I'm sure she's coming with.
Oh, I'm sure all these ladies are coming with if you get the car. All right. Oh, here we go. So we have a quote from Giles Taylor, the director of design at Rolls Royce. The motor cars. He says, "Sweptail is the automotive equivalent of hot. How do you say a word? Haute couture. Haute couture. Okay." You read the sentence. Read the sentence because I can't say a word.
Sweptail is the automotive equivalent of haute couture. Comments Giles Taylor, director of design at Rolls Royce Motor Cars. It's a Rolls Royce design and hand tailored to fit a specific customer. This customer came to the house of Rolls Royce with an idea shared in a creative process where we advised him on his cloth, then we tailored that cloth to him. You might say we cut the cloth for the suit of clothes that he will be judged by. And
judging by this man is loaded. Nice that he's got a nice suit and a nice car and nice champagne. So moving on. So even though this car is only one, we're going to move down to. So what do you think? As a car connoisseur, what do you think? Do you think this car is worth $13 million?
If I was given $13 million and told to exhaust it on cars, it's not what I would have bought.
What would you have bought?
I would have got one of those, which nobody can see, but it's a GT40 from the 60s.
We'll pop it up on the screen on our YouTube.
I would have got a Shelby Cobra and a Shelby Mustang, just my trio of Shelbys. And if you buy the right ones, you'll consume $13 million doing that.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you could consume $13 million buying any right the right cars and anything. That's pretty cool. So we're going to talk about a little bit more. This might be more in line with the Shelbys. We're going to talk about the racing car, the Apollo IE. The Apollo IE. Now, IE stands for Intenza Emozione. And I'm probably butchering. I know it's how you're supposed to say it. I can't do the Italian accent. Can you do it? Intenza Emozione. Can you do that? Can you do that accent?
Oh, not at all.
I can't either.
Yeah, I'm no actor.
I went to Italy, and I every time I was there, I knew like one word of it. It was my Italian was one word of Italian.
What was
Some
it?
broken Spanglish. It was however you say hello. I forget already. How do you It was excusey. Then it was just like broken Spanglish. Excusey, donde está el ATM? That was me in Italy. I could not say. I'm horrible. I'm bad at foreign languages, and so when I went to Italy, even I was basically just really broken Spanglish. Luckily, I mean everyone there does speak English, so I felt bad, but I was trying. I was trying to Google Translate, but either way, this intensa emozione. This is the marking the return to the truest, most organic form of the hypercar. So, so from the beginning, Apollo set out to build a car that was lightweight, aerodynamically efficient, and connected, but unimpeded by any emotionally dilutive technological systems.
Mm.
They want like a racing car. So yeah. So this is a super Lego that combines the aerodynamic efficiency and mechanical grip of a modern GT1, GT3 LMP race car with the classical thrill of a high-revving, naturally aspirated V12. Yeah, so
I thought it was cool that it was aspirated still. This is an era of turbo cars and so forth. Aspirated cars have a different feel, and I thought that was kind of cool.
how would you describe their feel?
Well, they're just you're not relying upon technology to cheat. The engine has to make its own power. If it's efficient, it builds that power still quite well. But we're in a time now when diesel pickups can be turbocharged and blow away Corvettes at stoplights. So when you're relying on just the ambient air to produce that power, you've got to have a pretty well designed engine, and they just have a much more linear delivery feel. And so I quite liked the concept of what the engine was, and I loved looking at the suspension on this car. It's just beautiful.
Cool. That's cool. And so the engine, again, you said so no turbos, no hybrid systems, and the unit produces in excess of 780 horsepower and 760
Newton meters of torque.
760 newton meters of torque. All right, and so it's developed in partnership with Autotechnica Moton and revs up to 9,000 RPMs. Now the cool thing is this one does have 3 engine map modes that can be selected by a driver: wet, sport, and track. I don't have anything about ice. Do you think they drive that? What do you think this car can handle on ice?
Most people aren't going to be out there in that. A friend of mine and I were in his Enzo in snow once.
Yeah.
And I was glad he was driving in that moment. We had just changed about a half hour before.
Yeah.
And these kind of cars are not really fond.
No.
Of that kind of weather.
They are not. No. Not at all. Nope. Or in Detroit we have fish fly. We have fish fly weather. The fish flies. These bugs. They die, and I'll throw some of this up on our YouTube. So the fish flies, I think I put some on my Facebook. The fish flies, they die, and basically it's when you drive on it, their bodies are so slick with oil that oh my god. I was just showing this to my Uber driver on the way here, hon.
You're doing donuts going down the road and you can't tell that they're there?
Oh, you can tell that they're there. They coat the road. Fish fly Michigan season. They coat the road. And I'll put some of this up on our YouTube here so you can see this. Okay, so look there. That's what they look like. Well, so their bodies are so slick. So you hit that and you hit where this like you hit their bodies or whatever. You're driving. It's like driving on ice. It's like hitting an oil slick on a patch of ice, and it happens in June. Usually in June at the summertime. Yeah. That's disgusting. Yeah, like this is what they look like. They're coating the ATM. That's they coat your car. Yeah, that's them coating a gas station. Yeah, they're disgusting. And they don't bite, but they are the grossest thing. Yeah, look, that's how. Yeah, that guy sweeping. I'll put something. Yeah, so if you Google if you're on the podcast, Google fish fly Michigan season, and I guarantee you, any kind of bug infestation you have, you're never going to complain about it again. They smell so bad. It smells. We had to wear like the bandanas on our face to clean them out because they were so gross.
Imagine. Now, I've been on a motorcycle when I've hit a swarm of mosquitoes.
Oh god.
And it's almost that bad, but that's the worst thing I would ever imagine.
Oh, gross. And but do they ever get them? But then they get in your mouth.
Sometimes.
Yeah, gross.
Up your nose.
Oh god. So in our Apollo, we have, the power and the torque is transmitted through longitudinal Hewland's sequential 6-speed and rev gearbox with fully interchangeable gear ratios. Gearbox operated via electro-pneumatic paddle shifters that move with the steering wheel, so next gear is always within the driver's reach. So this is really a true sports car driving experience. Do you think?
I'm old school in that I prefer a manual gearbox.
Oh, okay.
And you almost can't find one anymore.
Really?
So yeah, most of the cars that I prefer are actually older.
Uh-huh.
I think of all the cars that I've driven, probably the F40, Ferrari F40 gives the most visceral, raw sports car experience. But that's not where the new cars are going. This is the right direction. This is there. It's a lot quicker.
Yeah.
It's a lot smoother. And where I struggle on this car is the body.
Really? What do you struggle about the body?
Well, it's like you took a normal, exotic car, and then you gave it Batman, and you told him to have sex, and this was the baby. Because there's just fins and wings and appendages everywhere. I love looking at this car as a chassis, and I'm not sold on the physical appearance.
Really, you think that they kind of overdid it?
Oh gosh, yeah. This is almost a caricature of an exotic car for me.
I kind of feel like then, you've got the suicide doors and everything like that. Yeah.
I mean, the exhaust tip here, probably costs more than my Porsche over there.
Really?
I'm thinking.
Well, let's see. Yeah, the exhaust tip. I'm trying to see if it says anything about the exhaust tip in
now,
here.
Now, the upside to all this, of course, is that's not why people are even buying these cars. I mean, you've got one of one on the Rolls. You've got, I think, 10 of these are being made.
Yeah, 10.
And so,
this is probably going to sit in a garage somewhere.
Yeah,
you're right.
Nobody's going to get this stuff dirty.
Yeah.
Very few. I mean, the guys that do drive these, they'll take it to a racetrack. It will not be driven in weather,
Well, this is something cool, though. I do notice this. So basically, the clients who want to buy these type of cars, they do they let them come to the private testing sessions, and they let them drive around their private track. So that's pretty cool. So if you're going to buy one of these, you can go drive it privately around their track and stuff. So there's that.
And I'm willing to bet that all 10 owners were known before the first car was built.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a privilege if you get to buy one.
Yes, definitely. So on that note, talking about talk about hypercars. Now we've been hearing a lot about hypercars. So we hear hypercars, supercars. And we're gonna what's the difference? And this is one of the things we talked about in this in this issue. So, yeah.
Well, one of the things they talk about is how a hypercar is not necessarily made for handling. It's made for power. It's made to go straight.
Yeah.
And that's where I have my disengagement. I prefer the ones that are more made to go around the corners.
Well, yeah.
And so, and the hypercar is going to always be a much higher price point.
Yeah.
It's a more exclusive product.
All hypercars are supercars, but all supercars aren't hypercars.
Exactly.
Hypercars are what they said. The top 2% of hypercars are the top 2% of supercars. And straight line speed. That's one of it'd be cool. Have you ever been to the Bonneville Salt Flats?
Oh yes.
Have you ever raced on it?
No. It's one I haven't done.
That's what I think would be cool. I think you just get in a car and just go as fast as you can just on the Salt Flats. I think that'd be awesome.
We got to go out there once with some off-road vehicles, and a camera crew happened to show up.
Really?
Yeah. And it was
a camera crew happened to show up.
Yeah. Well, what it was is it was a TV show that was on wind power.
Oh, okay, all right.
And they have their hosts there and everything. And they were like, "Is it going to be windy today?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Nope, still is a church."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh,
God,
we got to do a show." And it was so funny because the guys that were with us, some of them have done racing, and they just started doing high-speed donuts with the host in the car, and they were able to at least get some footage on the Salt Flats.
That's neat. That's so cool. I would love to, maybe someday if when our podcast gets to be big time, we can arrange for one of these to take it out. We conveniently live by we live about an hour from Bonneville Salt Flats. So any of the listeners out there who have a car that they would like to see tested on the Bonneville Salt Flats, send you an address. You get it shipped out here. We'll take care of you. We'll record it. And so the hypercars, they're basically again they have a lot of the same characteristics as a supercar: the efficient power, the weight efficient builds, unique and outstanding aerodynamics, and but usually stocked with 10 or more cylinder engines. So and they're built from carbon fiber, and they're in the back for better aerodynamics. So this thing it's kind of like what was it? I remember I was in middle school. We had to build these these little cars, and you put what do you call it, like a C, what was the cartridge, a CO2 cartridge in the back, and then you would, and then our teacher lit them, and you saw who could go the fastest. And I remember ours was built real sleek because it was like kind of designed in physics. So yeah, that's kind of what I feel like this would be.
Oh yeah, it would be. I don't know if this has systems for allowing it to really drive on the road. Like for instance, in an Enzo, you can pick up the nose a little bit. You can pick up, just enough that some of the speed bumps and whatnot aren't going to tear up the bottom. We had problems with some of the other cars once in a while, that they would scrape. This here is certainly low. I mean, it's almost like I said, an LMP car, a proper race car. And so I think that most of these will be track use only.
Yeah. What do you think you get? It has to be something on the market now. What would be your dream hypercar?
I probably would not do a hypercar.
You could do a hypercar. You've got that
a Carrera
money.
GT.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the Carrera GT, I've probably put 3,000 or 4,000 miles on a Carrera GT before, and had it on the track. I've driven it to California, driven it to Arizona.
Yeah.
And
Carreras are known for more, like you said, the curvature handling, not just the straight shots.
And it was one of the last cars with a manual gearbox and a very tricky clutch. It's a racing clutch.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people gave that one a black eye, but for me personally, for my personal use, that would be my favorite car. And then you have a lot of money left over to buy a kick-ass house, I guess, to put it in.
I guess so.
Because this car, I'm trying to remember, wasn't it like, $2 or $3 million?
I believe that this one, okay, so they said they only milk 10. Some of these ones, they don't list the prices. Let's see if they say anything about it. Let's see. I don't remember them giving us the price for this one, but there's usually ways, I think this one, you're right, I think it was in the 2 to 3 million market.
But the Carrera GT, when it came out, it was in the 450 to ish area. And then they've gone up now to 750 to 1.1, depending upon which one you're looking at on the market.
That's cool. Well, speaking of having money left over, we have and here in this issue we talk. Well, actually, this is coming up in this one. We're going to skip ahead. We're going to preview the October 2018 issue, talking about watches, and this is the article I wrote.
Well, look at that. That's where you could spend the rest of your money.
You're right. But this is so in the October 2018 issue, it's actually an article I wrote. We have 5 luxury watches, and luxury watches we went from our 1,150,000. That was our Patek Philippe reference 5208, and we'll talk about that one in a second. And I think I also put some of the. Oh, okay. I also put just a regular roll. I think I put just a regular Rollie on here somewhere. Yeah, just a regular Rollie, only 9,250. The Rolex GMT, Rolex GMT Master 2. Only 9,000. But we got one for 12,000. So, Frank Mueller, that was our most expensive one. Okay, so watches. Do you wear a watch?
No, I use my phone. I have 3 of them upstairs, and they stay there.
Yeah.
Ever since phones came out, I've stopped.
I know. Well, so we're talking about now watches. Really, this is besides wedding rings. Watches are the one. It's just more now. It's just statements. So a lot of what the watches now are doing, and we will put these up on the screen, and they're in our October 2018 issue. These are our high end, and they've all kind of got a vintage feel. Now this one's our Patek Philippe. This one is the self-proclaimed most complicated watch in the world. And so it's housed in rose gold case, got the sapphire crystal case back, but it's got 719 parts. Okay.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful. We got moon phase indicator, leap year indicator, minute repeater, mono pusher chronograph, instantaneous perpetual calendar with aperture displays, and it displays the hours and minutes of mean solar time. What's a moon phase indicator? Oh, do you know what a moon phase indicator is? I don't.
I'm guessing full moon.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
Let's see.
As it's going through.
Okay, you're right. There, that's this bottom one. Right? Yeah, moon phase indicator. There we go. Got the moon phase indicator there. And so if you need to know when the full moon's going to happen, because werewolves. Then this is the watch for you. If you got to be on that werewolf preparation time, this is the watch for you. Coming in at just about the same price, we've got the Frank Mueller Eternitas Mega. The Frank Mueller watch. This is challenging the Patek for the title of most complicated wristwatch, and it looks complicated. We'll pop that up here too. It's got
1,483 components.
Hello,
I think it wins.
1,483 components, 36 complications, and it means the name Eternitas comes from Latin and means eternity. It is a tribute to the eternal calendar in the Eternitas Mega that follows a 1,000-year cycle renewable to infinity. I would have to work till infinity to be able to afford this 1.2 million price point. But look at all these little dials. Look how all those little dials.
Yeah, that is one funky little watch.
I can't see what time it is, though.
It's fascinating to me to think that there's almost 1,500 components that we're looking at in that tiny little thing. Can you imagine the patience of putting that together?
And just
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. So if you're looking for something, a little less complex and more with your price range, what do we have? We have the IWC Portugueser Yacht Club chronograph. This is perfect for the sailing enthusiast or anyone who wants to look like they belong to a yacht club. Every time I talk about the yacht club, I always think about was it Wedding Crashers, where it's like, I take you to be my first mate.
Oh, there you go.
I met that guy at Sundance. I snowboard with him. The guy, his name's like Jeff or something like that. He was the guy who because he's in Wedding Crashers, and that's his line where she says, "I take you to be my captain." He says, "I take you to be my first mate."
The sister's
the
husband.
Sister's husband, the one in the very beginning. Yeah, that's like that's his iconic line. He said it to me. I was so excited. I mean, he's pretty good looking, and he's like, I was like, "Please do the line." He's like. It's like, I take you to be my. He's like, I take you to be my first mate. And I was like dying. I think I could have died happy.
No, that was fun.
I wonder if that means we're married now.
Well, in some country it probably does.
It probably does.
I personally like this
one. You like the Chrono Swiss Flying Grand Regular? What do you like about that?
I'm a sucker for black, red, and silver.
Ooh.
And when you see it on a watch like that, as bold as that is, and yet very fine and timeless.
That is cool.
Yeah. The one car back here that's going to get restored when I had it 30 years ago was white with red, and I just thought, man, that'd be a kick-ass watch if you ever had a watch and you wanted to drive it with a.
Well, it's only 10,000.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
it's downright cheap, but there's only 30 made, so good luck getting one.
Well, and the red and black, I feel like this would really go well with the IE. So if you buy your Apollo IE, if you don't go for the full Rolls Royce, if you just go down to the 3 million price point, then that's the watch you're gonna have. That's the watch you can get. If you get that Rolls Royce, then we've got the Yacht Club one.
I'm willing to bet whoever bought the Apollo, though, is going to be able to do a bespoke interior just about anything he wants. This one is red and black, and it's gorgeous.
It is. This is a nice interior. Now, they talk about the one of the things they talk about the IE is that it's very simplistic. That there's not like a lot of fancy, things. In modern cars, sometimes you feel like driving a spaceship.
Yep.
My mom's got one of those like SUVs where it's like a full on it's like. I've seen it's bigger than most people's TVs. You see it right there. You got all these.
Your user manual's now this thick.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the sweetest. This is very, very just. It's simplistic. This is you get in there. You're going to be driving a race car. I would like to drive one. I know how to. Fun fact about me: I'm one of the only people I know who knows how to drive stick. I'm the only girl I know who knows how to drive stick.
You're the only girl you know.
Only girl I know who knows how to drive stick. I am the only girl.
That is a horrible commentary on modern America.
Yeah. Well, there's nobody drives stick. Nobody. Most most cars now they don't even make stick shifts anymore.
I know. I put up a post on, somewhat ironically on Facebook the other day about that.
Which was the thing where
it was because used cars, according to a report, they did it by city.
Yeah.
And Salt Lake is 10th in America in the most stick cars being sold used.
Really?
Yeah, 5%. And we're the most. We're at 10.
Wow.
And the worst was Birmingham, Alabama, and under 2% of their cars. So we're pretty much an automatic society, and we're pretty fast moving toward the we don't even drive our own car anymore society.
Oh, that's a little too much.
That ain't happening to me.
Where we've got that's gonna be coming up in one of our next podcasts. Actually, we talk about the it was some stuff that was shown at the Geneva Auto Show. Self-driving cars.
Yeah,
I don't trust it.
No,
I don't know.
Well, what's the point? I mean, okay, let's say you live in, I don't know, New York,
yeah.
Right? Okay, self-driving car, I get that.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there bored. You're doing your work. You're making your calls. Why the hell do you want to live in New York anyway?
I don't know. I wouldn't want. I've been there once. It was cold. You have to walk everywhere. It's expensive. It's cold. You have to walk everywhere.
Yeah, no, not for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't live anywhere I couldn't drive.
I know, and that's why Danielle. I got accepted to Columbia for grad school, and it was mostly the money the reason I didn't go. But I went out there to visit, and I was just like, man, it is cold. You have to walk everywhere. It's cold, and you couldn't drive. And I had I've had a car.
You don't like the cold, do you?
Well, I love the cold, but I don't like being out. I don't like having to walk in it.
Gotcha.
And so I've had a car since I was 16. And for me, that was hard. I was 22, and I was like, just to think that I couldn't just get in my car and go somewhere. That's always been a little bit hard. Even right now, like my car's in the shop, but I mean, we can Uber and stuff like that. But if I need a car, I can borrow, Rob's car. And so that's why I just don't. It's for me, not having a car is different, and to trust, a car to drive and to not crash. I don't know. Just not not having that control is a little bit tough. So yeah.
No thanks. I think the cool thing about the automatic on the vehicle side, is what it's going to do to the trucking industry.
Oh, that's a really good point.
That's a good one. That's a great use of it.
Yeah.
Although if it does go wrong, now you've got how many tons of material hurtling at you out of control with nobody at the wheel.
Right. Oh no.
I honestly wonder though if what it'll turn into is, yes, it's doing everything automatically, but they're still paying a guy to sit in the seat.
Like how like airplanes now, like everything's on autopilot. I think that's actually pretty. That's pretty good because you're right. They say the plane flies itself, but you at least have the pilot there in case in case something goes wrong. To override in that event of an emergency, like. Dude landing on Scully lands on the Hudson River. that wasn't autopilot. That was a human.
Yeah.
So you do want to think about that, especially in more like the icy conditions and things of that nature. So yeah. So I think that's about it for this. This was our first podcast, our pilot podcast. But we are going to like I said, we're going back. We're talking about our April 2018 issue. And you can still pick that up. Check out our website at exoticcarsmagazine.com. And we've got so you can get that one. And we've got our October 2018 issue just came out. But yeah, we got some pretty neat stuff in here. And we just talked about a few of the cars. What other cars? Let's see what other cars we have featured in this magazine. We have featured. We talked about the McLaren a little bit. This was the. What was this? This was the Vanier Super Sport. That one, no. What do you think about this? Do you think this looks less like Batman car?
No, it's a lot more toned down. I don't think you get more Batman than the Apollo.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is not a vehicle I'm familiar with at all.
I know.
The Aero Auto Marble.
Yeah. So we got about 10 cars featured in the April issue, so be sure to check that one out. Check out the website and check out and look for the October 2018 issue. We'll also be covering the Paris Auto Show as well.
Senna.
Yeah.